few things to make sure that everybody knows how to utilize Brokermint and maybe some easy things or tips that you might not have been utilizing previously. So we're going to start off with basically Tanya showing you how to create the file and how to choose the correct checklist. So we're going to go ahead and share our screen. And you guys can go ahead and see this. I'm going to let Tanya go ahead and create the transaction with the steps that she tells you as she does them.
Hello, everybody. Can you see my screen? Okay, we're going to transactions right now. It's on the left side under the pipeline on the left side. We're going to go to create a transaction. I'm going to click on the icon. We're going to put in an address. So you go ahead and do that for you. Okay, and the price we'll put on this, oh, we'll just put 500,000 just to get it started. Okay, and we want to put a close date on this. This is important that we do. We can go ahead and just, as long as you have the address, the price, and the close date is what we want, right? And we'll put today's date, which is the 15th. I didn't think about it. Okay, so then we're gonna click on the next button. Okay, so say we're doing the listing side, correct? So I'm gonna go ahead and select the listing side, select. We are champions, it's already clicked, so we want to save there. Okay, from here I go on to next. I don't know what you do, but
well, they have to add them. They would need to make sure that it's them as the agent, or we won't know.
Okay. So add agent. Okay, so we want to put
just add me.
Ashley Ruiz as the agent. Okay, so we're going down to Ashley.
And make sure you're choosing user, because if you don't, you won't get credit for it when we run the report. So that's like a main thing when you come up and you choose agent, make sure you're choosing yourself as the user.
So we'll go ahead and save that. And I go to the percentage.
Because this is a commission, so you're going to put the dollar amount of the commission.
Dollar amount.
So we'll just put 10,000, of course, we're just going to stay using. And same thing right here. And on a lot of this, we'll go ahead and correct it, but just make sure, because I know a lot of times for the steps, it makes you do it, that you are changing it to a dollar amount instead of a percentage.
It looks like we have that. Okay, we're going to go to next. Okay, and create. All right, so we have that there. Next, we want to go to the checklist. So we're going to go ahead and go to the add button underneath the checklist. From here, you'll see it'll say commercial dual agency. You want to click on that down arrow right next to it, and it'll bring up all the checklists you need. So we're going to go ahead and do a residential listing. So here you go. And go ahead and add that. And there comes the checklist. So from here, what we want to do is, do we want to show them how to upload the documents yet already, or do you...
Yeah, we're going to show you a few different ways that you can upload a document. Just to, so everybody kind of sees like, oh, okay, that's what where they're going with. You obviously can always click on one item and go ahead and put it in there. You can also sort it. You can look for individual things. For example, we'll go ahead and go to documents, and we're going to go to unsorted. At this time, there's nothing in there yet. Then we're going to go to add documents, and we're going to go to upload file. So the easiest way I feel is whatever you're going to upload, go ahead and download to your desktop from your email when you scan it to yourself or the other agent scans it to you or however you retrieved it. And then I put up my own folder that I marked for the address, and then I put everything in there so it's just easy to go to. So I'll click on there, for example, and then I'm just going to go to the biggest bulk of items we have so that we can show you how to go ahead and sort those. So we'll go to the closed items for that one. You'll hit open. You're then going to see that this is 5 pages. Well, we know the receipt for reports isn't 5 pages. So these are kind of the items you get more towards the end of the file. So we figured it would be pretty easy to go ahead and explain. So then you're going to go ahead and you could either assign it if it was one item, or you can go ahead and what we're going to do with this one is we're going to split it. And this is where you get to assign it to the actual item. So the receipt for reports, we're going to go from page 1 to page 2. And you can see here, you can count the pages yourself. So we know, okay, that's the 2 pages. Then as you go to actually type in the name of the document, you can click that item and it will automatically put it there for you. Then you're going to go to the next page, which is contingency removal. So there's 2 of them, but they all go under contingency. So you'll put 3 and then you'll hit 4 and you start typing in contingency removal. Again, it will come up. Then we know page 5 is our home inspection is not a repair list for sellers. So we can go ahead, that's our last item there, and we can go ahead and do 5 to 5 and start typing in home inspection report. And again, it'll show up. Once you've put all your items here, and you can actually even upload your entire file if you wanted to of 120 pages and go ahead and do this the same way. And it'll probably take you about 10 minutes. We'll go ahead and split this, and then it's going to take us to the checklist.
Ashley, sorry, real quick. Can you make that a full screen in your browser?
Which part of it? Okay, hold
That
on.
one you're on right now. You see that little square on the top right of that browser?
This one?
Yeah. Can you make it full screen?
Okay, there you go.
There it is.
So then on here, you're going to see that those items have been uploaded into their spots already for us. Now, sometimes, obviously, I know for NHG report, for example, a lot of times the signature page is separate because you send that out separate from the actual report. We can also go ahead and do that under documents as well and unsorted. So you'll take the same steps and instead you're going to add a document because we already did that one. We'll go to upload file. I'm in here again. So I am going to actually upload 2 items this time. So now actually pages 1 is 29 and 1 is 1. So we've got this. Then we can go ahead and we are going to merge with, and then we can actually go ahead and merge the document. We're going to add it from right here. Now those 2 items are going to go together, and we can even name it ourselves, the NHD pool, because that's what we want to call it. So we will merge those 2 items. Those 2 items will now show up right here. So now when we go there, now we can just actually go ahead and we can assign it to the natural hazard disclosure report. And now if we go back to residential listing, that should also be uploaded. Yeah, right here. So a lot of these things are just easy things to show you guys how to go ahead and merge documents. We'll do one more of those ones because I know that one has a few more steps. So we're going to go back to documents, always go to unsorted, and always go to add and upload file. The neat thing is all these things will stay here. So in case something gets rejected, you can always go back to any of your documents and pull whatever you needed from it. On here, we're going to go ahead. So normally a lot of people don't realize that for the physical inspection, you're supposed to have the HID with a physical inspection or the HID with a waiver waiving the inspection. So we're going to go ahead and merge those 2 together now the same way. So we're going to choose that item and hit open. And it's going to show up here. And then we're going to go ahead and add the waiver. So it shows up there as well. And then both those items are there. This one is the one that's going to show up. So we're going to go ahead again and we're going to merge with, and then we're going to go ahead and add the document and we are going to add the HID to that. Then we're going to put on here inspection, since that's what they are in regards to, and we are going to merge. And now that shows up on the top. It is here. Now we can go ahead and assign that to the physical inspection. Sorry.
22.
And there we go. So now that one is assigned to that as well. Real quick. Without going any further, does anyone have any questions? They can unmute themselves now for any questions so that we can revisit those or go over any specifics. Yes, no?
Yes,
Okay.
I have a,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Vita.
okay. Yeah, I have a question. I put some folder, so if it's not the right or it's already closed, how I can change it? Because I have a lot over there and I want to change it, or it's not longer. How I say?
Like what, for example, what document is it?
Not document, the file. If it's not longer,
Like it canceled?
yes, it's canceled. That
Okay, so, oops, sorry. There we go. All right, so if you cancel, we'll go ahead and share the screen again so that you can see that. Okay, so if it canceled, we're gonna go back to so if it's on here, you'll go back to the main screen where you actually created the transaction. You'll go to edit and you will go to cancel transaction.
okay. So I not got to edit, like
Yes, you'll go
just
to edit and then you'll go to cancel transaction.
Okay. Thank you, Ashley.
Of course. Now, if you didn't get far enough into the transaction to really upload any items by the new person, or you didn't have a deposit in escrow, but you already created the transaction, put the listing agreement and stuff, you can always edit anything that you've put in there already, like for any other clients, by going there. And when it goes through, it'll take you to people. We don't require that you enter the buyer and the seller or the other agent information. It's on your checklist anyways that you could open up and view. But if for any reason you guys choose to do this because it's an easy way to remember them or find them, you guys can do that. It's not a requirement for your file. Same token, the only other thing I was going to say when you do that is any items that you might have had that you no longer wanted in there, you could also click on those and you could do an action. You can void the check, you can delete an item. It would be on this side. So if you wanted to go ahead and it was signed by somebody that's no longer part of it, you could just go here and delete. Then it would look more like this again. It would go to the upload to where you could upload the new document from the new client that would be doing it. So those are just some things you can do. Now, obviously, if you already opened escrow, you had to do cancellation, then you're gonna want to keep it as a canceled transaction in case anything comes up in the future, and then go ahead and create a new one once you open escrow again.
He's a first-time buyer, so FHA.
Okay.
I can hear
And-
somebody in the background.
I'll connect you on.
I think it's Chris Ibarra, but Vita and Chris are in the same room, so
Oh.
Jenny, were you gonna try to ask something too? It seemed like for a second ago. I wasn't sure. Maybe.
Okay, so I don't usually use this one, so my I understand how it's working. I like it. It looks very easy. How do you access though, like from the beginning? Because you opened it, and it was already open. But if I want to open my Brokermint, where do I go?
Just to brokermint.com.
Okay, with
So
my
on your
credentials.
Google, okay, wait, hold on. Let me actually share. Sorry.
Sorry, I know it's very
No,
basic.
no, it's okay. So if I go to my share my screen, I am gonna go here. So you literally in your search bar would just do Brokermint. You can do login if you want. It'll take you here. And then mine's already open, so it's here. So hold on, let me get out of it and see if it'll help. Hold on, let's see.
I don't think I'm not seeing the document. I'm not seeing your screen.
I shared it. Let's see. Do I see it now? Yes. Okay, so I just go to Brokermint login. I'll go to Brokermint and it's gonna log me in because it's been within a few minutes. But if you just go to Brokermint login, it will. And then it just has a login key right on the top left that you would log into. I don't know why it's not letting me log out, but
I think I got it. Thank you.
yeah, sorry. Okay, we're gonna go through just a couple more items because a lot of these are the ones like we did the HID and the inspection. Luckily that one had a inspection waiver instead of the whole report, but it gets the idea across. The other one that we were going to do, and then obviously define your transaction again. To add things, you would just put in your address. Yours is going to be a lot smaller and go right to it. I'll go back to my checklist so that I'm in here. Then I'm going to want to go ahead and I'm going to go to documents. I'm going to sort a few more things and go over a few that are important that a lot of people are getting rejected lately. We're going to go to miscellaneous items and we are going to open. And it's going to show up here. And then on this, we are going to split it like we did the first items that we went through. So this is the seller's affidavit and the QS. For some reasons, I'm not sure. I think escrow confuses a lot of people. The QS, when it is a CAR form, will state that it is not a standalone form. This form can only be signed, utilized, completed if a seller's affidavit is signed. Now, granted, the items don't have to be answered. You're putting on file with escrow, which is why you're getting the QS. But in order for the QS to be signed by an escrow officer, this form has to be signed by the seller, stating that they are allowing the escrow officer to let the buyer know that they do have a non-foreign status. And the buyer signs this acknowledging that the seller gave the information to escrow. You cannot have just the FERPTA alone like this because no information is provided or confirmed, but you also cannot have this form as the seller did not sign at all saying that the buyer may have the information verified by escrow. So these two forms have to go hand in hand. So on this, since it was one attachment and it's going to go to one, we've got the statewide attached to it because we're splitting it. We are going to go ahead and put the first three together because the FERP is 2 pages and then the QS is 1. So pages 1, 2, and 3 would go to sellers. Oops, sorry. Should be sellers FERP to number 6. And so that is going to be assigned to that. And then we'll scroll down. We'll make sure, and this is the other part too, because sometimes when things scan in, it'll scan double pages. So you want to make sure that all your pages would be correct. You see the page numbers right here. So we know that statewide is starting on page 4. We'll go ahead and count through. So you've got page 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. As you can see, it's up here, 10. And you want to make sure that all of the right here of your pages are in order, that you are not missing any, which on here we didn't because we can tell by the number of pages we have in total. But sometimes it does happen and we're in a hurry and we just don't realize it. So then you can go ahead and we would put to the last number, which is page 17. And then you would just go ahead again, start typing in statewide, click on it, and then you will split, and it's magically going to put them all in the respective spots. The other thing that we do run into a lot of the times is once these things have been uploaded, you'll see they see uploaded, but they're no other color. In order for us to know that you've uploaded them, you have to go to action and you have to submit them for review. Because if you do not submit them for review, we don't know that you uploaded them or that you want us to even review or look at them. Once that's done and we go to our approved documents, it should be the very last one. So that's the only one that's going to be in there. We're going to go in there. We're going to see it. This is where we'll approve. And this one will be approved because we did do it correctly. We'll just pretend like it was missing a page. So you might get a comment that says missing page 8, or it's just an example. It's really not. And it'll be reject because I want to show you on the checklist what the difference looks like. Obviously, then this is just the whole report that's together. So we would approve, we'd approve, and approve. And then we'll submit. When we hit submit, it comes back to you guys so that you can see what has been done by going to your checklist. So right away, if you've got blue, you're in the clear, you're good. However, if you get rejected, you're going to want to click on it and you're going to want to look right here because it has comments and activities. So that's going to be where you find out what was wrong with it. And then you're going to go ahead and it's going to say missing page 8. So in that case, it's fine. You would just go ahead and then go back into it. And instead of resubmitting, because it's not, you're going to delete the document only. And that's going to let us go ahead and put that item back in again. And you would just upload that specific item, make sure that your page 8 is there this time. So nothing that you put here is finalized until it's approved. And even then you can go in there. And again, you can do the same thing, but you usually don't want to do that because you're going to be doing double work unless something was needed to add to that. If for some reason you have extra items, we do have, if applicable, any other forms, addendums, disclosures. Anything that is not part of our checklist, you can upload to this portion of the file. You do not have to create a separate task for each item. You do not have to make any kind of details to it. We go in there, we just make sure that whatever's uploaded there, whether it be emails or other forms that other offices use, that everything is just signed in the appropriate place. So you'll rarely ever see rejections there. The other thing that we don't see a whole lot of, but it is important in the event that we get audited, is any offers that were rejected should be in this transaction. Even though they're not the offer that was accepted, you're going to want to, any offers that you receive should still be uploaded into your transaction prior to close so that they can always be referenced for any reason, and make sure that you are always initialing and dating the presentation of the offers on the ones that you accept and you don't accept. So we wanted to make sure to touch on that point too, because those are just some of the things that come up, and a lot of times agents wonder why it has to be done, but that is why it's there. Anything that's not needed, that's if applicable, you'll see it wouldn't be as missing. That's how we can tell when your check is ready. We will come here and kind of goes ahead and looks, a front desk looks, and you'll get the email saying that your file is complete, your check is ready. So that's kind of the behind the scenes from what we do, as well as what you guys are doing when you're uploading a file.
I have a question.
Yes. Hi, RC. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning. On the rejected offers, what if I get, I don't know, 10 offers on a piece of property, but we're not even paying attention to 8 of them. We're just concentrating on 2. Now, do you want us to put in, because I've had like 17 offers at one time on a piece of property. You want us to put in everything, even we didn't respond to the other ones?
Absolutely, because every offer should be responded to, at least with the offer is not being accepted, which is another part you initial.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. If you actually look at the RPA, there's a section on the bottom that said that the offer was rejected, and that's where you're going to put it. So you've got your presentation, because every offer has to be presented, whether you're responding to it with a counter or not. It has to be presented the date it was presented. And if you are not responding to it with accepting it or countering it, then you need to reject it and send it back to the other agent. All of that needs to be uploaded every single time for every single transaction.
Thank you. I didn't know that.
And the only reason we have if applicable is sometimes you may only get one offer on a property and it took 2 months to get the offer, there'd be no other ones. So that's why it is if applicable, but yes, any offers always should be responded to and then have proof of them. Because usually it's the ones that don't get accepted that will make a complaint that is gonna get audited and we'll need to review and have proof of when that was presented and why it was rejected and what actually ended up happening with the transaction.
That
Go ahead,
that
Vida.
is just for the clients. We open escrow.
No. Doesn't matter whether you opened or escrow or not, any offer that you received when you're
Okay.
the listing agent.
And for the offers rejected,
Mhm.
so we need to ask for the last page initial by the seller, the seller.
Yes.
And
And there's no place to upload it when you represent the buyer side, because we're not going to get audited for that. The listing side would only. So it's only when you're the listing agent that you have to have proof of all presented, rejected, and accepted offers for a DRE file.
Sorry, Ashley, it's Alia. Maybe I missed what you said, but is it just that page of rejection page that we need to upload, or the
Nope,
entire?
the whole offer.
Got it. Thank you.
Of course.
So pretty much this is just for the sellers.
The listing side, yes. Mhm.
Do we need to do that retroactively? I mean, this is the first time I'm learning this. So do we go back or just moving forward?
Moving forward, it's always been there, and we actually made a rule, did a presentation on it, I believe. I think it was last year and the year before, but going forward, yeah, we want to make sure that we are doing that in the events. And obviously, we don't want anything to come up, but in the event that it does, to be in compliance and to be able to have a strong case, we do need those in there. So just make sure it's a habit going forward.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Does anybody else have any questions on any of those things? On how to split the file, merge file? Like we said, when you actually submit it for review. I think that was most of the things that we do get a lot of questions on. A lot of times people do add everything to the listing. So on the RLA where it says the RL listing agreement and seller's advisory, those should be the only items that are in there. There should not be 15 pages in there. It should be only those items, and you can go ahead, even if you have other items attached to that, how you saw split, you can go ahead and split and just put those items under the listing and any other items under any other. So that everything's not in one. We'll get some people who the RPA too, and we'll get all these addendums, all these other outside office forms attached to it. It should only be the RPA. So we want to make sure that when we're uploading items, it's the correct item and only that item. And then just like we said with the QS and the FERPTA, that it's both items together, and the HID and the inspection or waiver, both items together. It just makes things a lot more streamlined when we are auditing the file to make sure that it's there. We've noticed a lot of TCs for some reason will go ahead and create a whole different task for an NHG signature page separate from the NHG report. That gets rejected because it needs to be in one task, because if we get the report before the signature page, we automatically reject it because the signature page is not there. It's set up this way for a reason, so it needs to be followed in that way. And it's too easy to go ahead and split and merge the documents so that they are where they respectively need to be for the transaction to be reviewed.
So now that we're gonna be receiving offers along with the compensation page from agents, do both of them go on the same transaction, or do you want them on a separate page?
For what's that? I didn't hear you.
When
Buyer's representation for the offer,
uh-huh.
the buyer's representation is going to have a separate page.
A separate, yeah.
Mhm,
So
it's gonna have its own, it's gonna have its own task to upload. And you can actually put both. So if you're using the form that Rod created in for us, as well as the actual buyer's representation, when you submit the offer, then you're gonna want to put both there. And it'll say that on the task too. And I think that will be added today, I believe. Yeah, so
So,
that's ready for
so
you.
the form, and I forgot to ask Rod yesterday, the form that he sent us, can that be used during open houses too?
For the yes, I would think that the other one would be a little bit better. Just because it is car and these are people you haven't really worked with yet. So I would say you want to be more precise. And when you do it at the open house, it's for that specific open house. It's not for any other property that you're showing them.
Okay.
Yeah. And that form is just kind of a way to be soft on your buyers so that they don't feel so overwhelmed or committed. But obviously for other offices, no matter what, you will have to use the car form when you actually submit the offer. But at least this way, showing your clients the different properties, they don't feel as threatened as that form until you're actually committed to writing the offer. Then you'll use the other one. Does anybody else have any other questions about Brokermint or the forms or the way the checklists are, how to get them, or any of the new things coming up? From what we know, that's the only change, is it'll just be that task added to it. That's it.
I have one more
Yeah,
because
no, it's okay.
because now I have to, I'm doing open houses on the weekend. So I have to download that form where people sign in and they say that, if they're represented or unrepresented. Does that go into Brokermint at some point too, or no?
If you're utilizing, what I would do is I would put all of those under any other documents, because most of them you are not going to be working with. But if for any reason something came back later on, which most likely it wouldn't, because it would have been you upset that they made an offer with someone else and not you, you have it there. But it's not going to be something that we require for the transaction to be approved and paid out on. So that's going to be there, like you can upload it for your reference and security, because that's what it
What
basically
I'm
does for
thinking
you.
is that there will be some clients showing up without an agent who
Mhm.
already have a signed agreement with somebody else, and they will probably lie to me and say, "Oh no, I don't have an agent, just to go see the house."
Right.
So that's why I was thinking maybe, but if I can upload it there, then it's there.
Yeah, and you keep that for your reference. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Is there anybody else that has any other questions or general questions about the files or anything else that's going on that we can help with?
Just one last question.
Yeah, I love it. No one else is talking to us.
Okay, so if I have a TC right now, right? She goes into my Brokermint and she does my paperwork. Um, and then later on, if I want to start transitioning to doing my own kind of a thing, what's the best way that you would recommend? Can I doing it? Because I don't want to go from, everything is done to now I have to do all of this paperwork. So if I have any questions as far as adding or changing things, um, do I go to either one of you and ask you, or?
Yeah, yep. And most of it we went over now, but if for some reason you have an issue while you're doing it or you forgot, this video will be on YouTube, so you can always revisit it. But if it's something you're having a particular issue with, then yeah, you can either log onto the computer here and show us or bring your laptop, either one.
Thank you. No more questions.
Anyone else?
I just like to make a comment.
Yes.
When you said, oh, it should take you about 10 minutes, hopefully one of these years I'll get to that goal where it's 10 minutes. So you've given me some tips on what to do and how I can make it quicker. So thank you both. I appreciate it.
Of course. And when you try it and you're not sure if you're doing it, just ask one of us, because we're always here. We're always here. Thanks, RC. All right, is that right? Do you have anything else?
One more thing, yeah, I think I want to go back to the commissions again, because we want to, let me see, is it, okay, one moment. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna go back to the commissions tab again. Let's just, as we had discussed it, everything needs to be in dollar amount, make sure that the total gross is dollar amount. The commissions, that you are, the agent is added as a user. We are only interested in, say, for example, this was just a listing side. You don't have to put anything on the buying side. We don't want any numbers there. We don't want anything there unless you're double ending it. So, and you would do the same. You would, if you're double ending it, you would also put your commission here, and add yourself as an agent or as a user as well. So I just wanted to make sure I went over this again. So unless you're double ending it, then put your information. You're going to put it twice, but we don't want to know if it's another outside realty company that we're doing business with. So just leave it blank. Okay. And that was it. I just wanted to go over it.
I have a question. So you want it in dollar amount, but not percentage, like at 2% or 3%?
Yeah, the reason for that, sorry, I'm trying to make you big again. I don't know why it's not letting me. There we go. The reason that we do that is because a lot of times if you put percentage and you credit a home warranty or you credit something, it throws the entire thing off. So it's always better to put the actual dollar amount that's on your actual commission agreement that's signed by escrow. So your commission instructions of the broker sign, that amount should match the amount that's entered in Brokermint. Yeah, sometimes it works out perfect in a perfect world and there's no credits, there's no nothing. But then sometimes there's advances or there's, like I said, home warranty credits, termite credits, whatever it may be. And then that amount is not correct at all. Or some people would forget to put that the percentage was based off of the commission, not the sales volume, and it would look like they made $300 billion instead of. So it just, yeah, it needs to be the dollar amount. Other than that, I think everything else, the system itself is pretty user friendly, and you obviously can do a lot more with it than what we require. But we just try to make it kind of easy so that you're not so focused on details in order to get paid, that it's just, we have what's required by the DRE. So that's why we also don't have a super long checklist. And we do have Rod go over it every single year to make sure if anything needs added, other than obviously this year. Throughout the year, different things are being added, but in general, he still goes over it and adds or removes what needs to be or not needs to be there.
I have another question.
Yeah.
On the cover sheet, do you have to put, like, can I just put my name? Do I have to put all of my email and everything?
No.
Because I'm a detailed person, so I usually try to fill out everything, and I'm thinking, wait, you know what office I am? So I just want to know what I need to fill out.
No, for your information, you can put you, and of course you can put yes, you want to work with yourself again. But for like the phone number, and no, we don't have to have it. It's nice if you do, if you have it memorized. I know some people actually have the form to where it's partially filled in and they just change the address and the other information sometimes. So it completely depends on how you utilize it, but no, we're not gonna not approve it because your phone number and address isn't on the cover sheet.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
When we are double ending, we have to do two files them?
No, you would go under dual.
Okay.
Yeah, a dual agency checklist is also under there. I'll go ahead and share where she was when she created the transaction. So under here is the residential, but you can add, and if you were a dual, then you would just go ahead and do residential dual agency, which is right here. And I want to say it's probably maybe differs by 1 or 2 items that may or may not be applicable. So yeah, you would just do dual agencies. There's no reason why you should ever have 2 lists for 1 transaction.
Okay, so I need to delete one transaction of what that I have.
Yeah, it should always only be 1. Sky Slope used to be the other way where you would have to do a listing checklist, and then once you opened escrow, you would do an additional checklist, but Brokermint, you only have to do 1 checklist. And that's all that's ever required for that. The only other thing I was gonna say about people getting their emails, if you guys have questions too, a lot of times other offices will not do our in-house forms, just as we need to be careful and make sure if we are signing outside forms, they actually pertain to the transaction. If on their transaction or their file, we get it, it's our listing, our escrow, we didn't utilize any of their services, there should be no reason why we're signing that form because we're not using their other services. So make sure what you're having your client sign is something they should be signing. And on our end, if it's something that the other people do not want to sign or they refuse to sign, all you have to do is use that email that you requested it and they said they're not going to do it along with your form signed by the client, because our client should always sign whatever is required. If the other side doesn't, we can't do anything, but you'll just attach the email saying they're not going to sign it. Or let's just say you're at the end of the transaction and you've been asking for the VP to be signed. You've asked for it 3 times. You upload those 3 times on 3 different dates with your client signed form, and we're going to approve it just as if it was signed by the other party. Obviously, we all have rules. Different brokerages have different rules, different requirements. So we're not going to hold it up if you actually did present it to them, you did try to get that, and they just did not respond, or they denied being able to sign it. So that's the other rule that we do have in place if something cannot be completed. Does anybody have any questions about that part of it? No? Okay, if no one else has anything to say, I don't know if you have anything else, Tanya?
No, I think that was it. And you mentioned no 2 checklists in the same transaction. So no, I mean that's pretty much it.
Okay. All right. And then if you guys think of something later, you can email either one of us.
Last
also.
question.
Yeah.
Sorry. If I have Brokermint, I had to have my own file out of the Brokermint too?
No. You will always, as part of the file archive fee, you'll always have access to this file online and stored.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you can, if you have your paper file, you can give it to your client because sometimes they love to have a hard copy of it. If you no longer need it and you've uploaded it and you're clear, or you can go ahead and shred it if you like to, or you can keep it if you choose to.
How long does Brokermint keep the file?
We have them from originally for the DRE, you have to have them for 3 years. We have some in here still from 2019, I believe, from when we had it the first time.
Okay.
But we don't ever, you could, all that time, you could always go back to it.
Because I usually keep a file for myself because I've had people 7 years later, they're asking me for something for whatever reason.
Yeah, the statute of limitations, 3 years. Anything beyond that really should not be given to anybody, or transferred to anybody. But for your own actions, you want to go in and check up their address, check up their birthday, or reference something from it if you're going to list it again.
Right.
Yeah, no, there's not like a time frame that we go in and delete files from here. No.
Okay.
Anything else? That's it. Going once, going twice. All right, you guys, if you need anything, you know where to reach us. I hope you guys all have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you, Tanya.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, guys.